Hey folks, Mark here, RC Aviation and Crawling. We're looking at the box, part of the box for the Horizon Hobby Eflite Cherokee 1.3 meter. Beautiful scale airplane. This is my second one. I owned one in Seattle a couple years back, flew it a lot from a grass field, but the grass at that field was a lot shorter than where I fly now, which brings me to the topic of the video. Out of the box, it comes stock with a two-bladed prop. It's an 11 by 7, which happens to be the same prop as on the Mall M7. Yeah, so she's got an 11 by 7 prop. Now I know from owning this airplane previously and flying it extensively that there is very little clearance between the prop tips and the ground. So if you're flying off of grass, it needs to be pretty short. Otherwise, now she'll take off and land on grass quite well, from my experience in Seattle. But there's not much clearance at all between the prop tips and the ground. And of course, the longer the grass is, the less clearance you have. So it was not uncommon for me in Seattle, where the grass was just only moderate in height and thickness. It wasn't anywhere near as tall or as thick as where I'm flying now in Oregon. But my experience there was that unless it was really short, unless they had just mowed, you were going to have props striking the grass, during the rollout and the takeoff and the landing and the landing rollout. So what I would have to do is, to avoid all that, unless they had just mowed it, I'd have to take off from a baseball diamond, dirt and sand based up ball diamond. I would take off that way to avoid the grass entirely and avoid any prop striking of the grass. That's what I'll do now. And then I had to land in the grass because landing on the baseball diamond is just too tight. But I would have to cut the throttle just about as soon as I touched down, and then just do the rollout with full up elevator and no throttle. Otherwise, I'd just be cutting the grass like crazy. So now here in Oregon, where I fly, the grass is even longer. So I'm certainly going to have to do the same thing where I take off from a baseball diamond. That's fine. And when I land, now that prop clearance, that minimal prop clearance between the prop tips and the ground is going to be even more of a problem because the grass is so much longer. So I mean, as soon as the wheels touch the grass, she's going to be cutting grass. So I'm going to have to do what I did before, which is basically cut the throttle totally as soon as the wheels touch and full up elevator, and we'll just have to do the rollout without any throttle at all. So we'll have to do that again. But I think I can mitigate circumstances a bit, improve circumstances a bit by going from the 11 by 7 stock two-bladed prop to a 9 by 7.5 three-bladed prop. Now, obviously, well, not obviously, but the 9 by 7.5 prop has 3 blades instead of 2, and each blade is shorter. On the 9 by 7.5, each blade is shorter than the blades on the two-bladed 11 by 7. So that should give me more ground clearance. With the 11 by 7, I believe each blade tip is about 5.5 inches from the prop shaft, right? And with the 9 by 7.5, 3 blades, but each blade is shorter. That means each blade's going to have more ground clearance. And I'm guesstimating. I think that I'm going to get about a half inch, or maybe a little bit better, more ground clearance by going to the shorter bladed 3-blade prop. I think that's what's going to happen. I think I'll get more ground clearance. Now, if anybody out there, has any reason why I should not go with a 3-bladed 9 by 7.5 prop on this airplane, I'd sure appreciate a shout out on that. But I'm estimating that the 3 blades that are smaller, but there's more of them, should provide about equivalent thrust to the larger 2 blades on the 2-blade stock prop. Yes. All right, we'll see what happens. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subbing. Have a great day. Get out there and fly something.